Hello, everybody, and we are live. Welcome to the 57th. I can't believe it. We're at the 57th weekly live Q&A that we do here in the channel. And, for those of you that are new that are going to see this, and we also have new members, by the way, you may see them in the chat. And some of them have left questions that we're going to answer right away, so don't worry. But for those of you that are new, welcome aboard. I just want to welcome every single one of you. And for those that are watching that are thinking of joining, we do this every week. We pretty much I always tell people, if you're thinking about working with me, and especially if money is an issue, try out, save your money. It's like a third of the cost, and just do 1 month of the membership. That way you get 4 opportunities, just like in these live streams, to pretty much ask me anything and everything you would have asked me in a call, and I get to help you guys out and guide you week after week and stuff like that. And you get to apply it and get results and movement, and it's a really neat group. So I'm really excited to welcome the new members and to dive into your questions, by the way. And for those of you that are here, welcome aboard. We're going to have more trickling in. I'm very excited. I have good energy today, and I feel good energy today. Something is in the air. I don't know what it is. But I just know today is going to be a freaking good stream. I'm already on a roll. I had a member who emailed me a question just for privacy reasons. So I sent them I already answered them privately. So for that member, I'm not going to read out their stuff, but because of that, like, I'm on a roll already. Like, my mind's, shooting on all cylinders. So I'm super excited. And what I'm going to say is, if the screen goes blank by any chance, like, in other words, the stream stops, do not be alarmed. As you already know, I'm trying to figure out, I'm trying to fine tune my setup. And sometimes the camera just resets, and I'm testing different things out. So if the stream ends up pausing at all I ask is to just have some patience. I'll literally load right back in within like a minute or two. And then if that fails again, I'm swapping to my webcam to finish off the rest of the stream. And just be aware. So if the screen just goes black randomly and you can't hear me anymore, don't worry. I will be back within minutes. Just have some patience while I figure and I tweak things out in my setup. So thank you so much, guys. And with that being said, let's get started. And I already see some of you guys saying hi. Give me 1 second. I'm going to put the chat here. 1 second. 1 second. Okay, you know what? I'm going to put that there. I think that's better. And okay. Hey, yo, Michael and fellow weenies. I'm so excited I made it. Oh, hey, how you doing, Sarah? Nice to see you. And what's it called? What's up, Bruce? How's everybody? I know Ash, by the way, is I don't think she's gonna be here because she did message me a question as well. And I'm trying to think who else. I think that was the only one that said that they're gonna be busy with some stuff. So let's see. Let's see. Michael's tech is forever in its Mercury retrograde era. Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't even consider that. That's actually so cool. How you guys been, by the way? If you have any questions, by the way, feel free to take full advantage. This is what you guys pay for. This is what you guys are here for, right? Take advantage of all the time you get to nitpick my brain. That's freaking amazing. And you don't have to pay 3 times the price that you would as if you were kind of doing a call with me. So, like I always say to all the new members, don't be shy. Take full advantage. If you have like 10 questions you want to ask them one at a time, and I'll go through them with you. Okay. So with that being said, we're going to dive right into the actual, especially while more people trickle in, we're going to get into the questions that people left for those that aren't going to be here. And let me see. We did have a new members question as well that we're going to cover. I have it. Let me just set up 2 separate windows. I want to have the chat here with you guys at all times. So I'm going to keep it like that. And if at any point there's an issue with my microphone or something like that, feel free to let me know in the chat, and I will more than gladly correct things. So don't worry, guys. I have an eye on you. Okay, here we go. Wow, that's a lot of interactions. I love that. Okay. Let me actually make that bigger. There we go. Now it's easier. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, and the 4th one's I already answered. Okay, so we're gonna start. I'm just gonna go from top to bottom, and we are going to dive right into it. And if anything that I'm explaining spawns any questions that pops up in your head, like I said, take advantage, okay, guys, and get your notebooks out. If something resonates with you, write it down. Why does it resonate with you? What does it mean to you? Right? This is how you start creating your little arsenal of your little tools. Okay, I'm feeling conflicting emotions. I'm not going to read the name, just more for privacy, especially if I see that maybe some things perhaps are better to just be kept more private, so don't worry about it. So if I just start reading out a question, I don't take any offense if I don't read your name. It's more for your protection. Okay. I'm feeling conflicting emotions. I was planting seeds for my landlord, deciding not to sell the house and telling my housemate and I that, sorry, one second, let me fix this. Hold on. Why is that formatted? Okay, there we go. Telling my housemate and I that she would be advertising the spare room for rent and feeling the relief of that whenever I'd start to stress about it. I did my best to not stress and return to the state of it being done. And yet today, the landlord announced that our leases would not be renewed and that we have 60 days to move out. Ooh, okay. That kind of reminds me of my situation in the past. I'm not a I'm not as upset as what I could be since my overall end goal is to be married and living with my SP. But why is there evidence that the law, quote unquote, hasn't worked? Or is it an example of the law, quote unquote, working in mysterious ways, as Neville says? With all that said, I am also somewhat relieved because, to be honest, my landlord isn't good at her job, and I'm relieved to no longer be dealing with her. Alrighty, we're gonna get right into it. And hey, by the way, Orange, I just saw you pop in as well. Let's see. Okay, sorry, I'm just reading your question. I'll definitely give you some guidance once I'm done with this one, okay? So, the first things first, right? I remember commenting saying that I already know what I'm gonna say to you, and I'm just gonna highlight the exact, I think it's over here. One second. Let's see. Okay. I did my best to not stress and return to the state. One second. Okay, so right here is the first part. I'm just highlighting the certain parts that I wanted to touch on so I don't forget them. I love that I can highlight multiple things at once. Oh, hey, Danny. Nice to see you. Wow. It's so funny. I was just thinking about you. I think it was yesterday. You popped up in my head. And or was it this morning? I can't even remember. It was recent. And then you just the same way how fast you came, you just disappeared out of my head too. And I was wondering, I was like, I hope everything's good with them. So that's so awesome that you pop up. It's so nice to see you. Okay. So you said you were planting seeds for your landlord and deciding because you wanted to for them to not sell the house, right? And I fully remember your situation. And I get it. Trust me, it's scary, especially when it comes to like where you live. That's you don't want to play with that. And I fully get it. Okay. Like it's not something to mess around with. So you mentioned that you had, these ideas of, oh, I thought they would do this, I would do that, and blah blah blah. And you mentioned that you were feeling the relief, right? Which is great. That part is fine. It's more than fine. There's nothing wrong with feeling the relief. That part you did great, right? The part where I was reading originally, and you said, I feel relief whenever I started stress about it. You said, I did my best to not stress and return to the state of being done. And yet today the landlord announced, and then you explain the situation, right? So you said I did my best to not stress. And just one thing that I want to always remind everyone, right? And I had this exact discussion with a client and member actually very recent, actually today. And they were kind of explaining some stuff to me where they felt like the law maybe wasn't going to work for them or it's not working for them, right? And you know, it's the same it's a very similar situation because they, in their own words, said that they did like really well mental diet wise as well, and that they had these results. So the same thing I explained to them, I'm going to explain to you. I always say in these situations, there's two ways to look at it that I like to look at it. I'm sure there's way more ways to look at it, but these two, in my eyes, are the most easiest, most logical, and just allow me to process things in a healthier way. So the first things first, I pretty much explained to them. I said there's two scenarios. Either scenario one, where you really did. Let's say 7 days ago you started mental dieting or whatever. 3 weeks ago you were mental dieting like perfect. Everything was great, just boom, 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 perfect, right? And just for this example, let's just say 7 days, okay? And I explained to them. I said if it was 7 days as an example, and then today this happens, then right then and there, what I would do in your shoes is examine, was the thing that I was doing like how good was a mental diet? Was it really good in the last few days? Can I really say that I really have been committed and so on and so on? In other words, I live by the law when I think of my goals and the problems, da da da. If the answer is yes, then you kind of take a different direction because you've already analyzed your approach and you can definitely say, yeah, for sure, I was doing everything right and I wasn't contradicting myself. I was becoming more aware of having the solutions and da da da. And that's fully fine. That's great. And that means you then go to like the next step, which is, if that's the case, the only mistake that you made was when the 3D did hit you. And to them, I explained, a situation with me, how in my first week that I discovered the law, in the first few days, I did everything perfect. And, first day discovering law, I'm telling you, not a negative emotion, not a negative thought popped in my head. I was just so optimistic and grateful. I was truly living by the law. Day two, it was even easier. It was so natural because I was doing it all day on the first day. By day three, I was in Sabbath. Literally, I experienced what Neville described as Sabbath. And I was so certain. I just woke up, and the best way to explain it is I got up out of bed and then I stood up and I really analyzed like how I feel about my goals. And I just had this knowing. I remember like jotting down, like taking a mental note that I had this definite feeling of this knowing, like it's done. In other words, it's finished and I know it's on the way. There was no question. I just didn't know when. But it was like a surprise that you know is coming, but it just there's no delivery date. You just know it's like within a short time frame. And I couldn't shake that feeling. I remember going to work that day and I just the whole way there, an hour and a half there, I felt that without like trying. It was all automatic. Everything that Neville said lined up. And then somewhere in the day, I got a phone call and they gave me the opposite of my manifestation, the worst case scenario. And I explained to the member and I told them, just like you, I reacted. But I said the difference was I wasn't in a multi-day reactionary state. I didn't become the victim day after day, day after, sorry about that, day after day, and then dwelling on the negative. I said instead it was like a matter of seconds, like in under a minute for sure. And I said, yes, my heart sunk. Yes, I had fear. Sorry, my throat's super dry. I apologize. Oopsie. Where the hell's my straw? Sorry. Okay. So I'm like crammed in here. I gotta like, you know what? Let me put this here. Why is that like on my little desk to my left? And I was scared, right? My worst fears came true. And I first thing I thought to myself was, how the hell did this happen? I was so sure. Like this is the opposite of what I felt this morning. And as I kept explaining to them, the story, I explained specifically that, and I really made sure I specified this is now where we branched off to different paths. And I chose to then and kind of remind myself, wait a minute, I've done everything perfect, like perfect. Like I knew in my heart of hearts, I didn't feel one negative emotion. I didn't entertain one negative thought. In my head, I knew I did everything perfect. And then I reminded myself, okay, I promised myself that for 30 days I would be willing to see this out no matter how bad the situation is. And who like what do I know? Maybe it takes a few more weeks for the 3D to catch up. And that's just how I viewed it with the little that I knew, right? And that made sense to me because I was like, who am I to be so impatient? Who am I to, have these expectations? Like I just discovered this thing and I'm only testing it, and I'm supposed to be upset that I didn't get it in 3 days. I'm like, that's so stupid. That's not what a logical person does. So instead, I was like, you know what? I got 27 more days. Let's just see what happens. And that brought me back down. And I remember, nope, it doesn't matter until I get what I want. I'm going to keep feeling that this is true. I'm going to keep remembering that this is true. And I'm only going to view the good. And then after that, I just had this feeling every time I thought of my goal, I was just like in full acceptance, like it's done. I don't care what anybody said, it's done. And I would feel that gratitude. And hours later, I got the result I wanted, right? The good news came. And that taught me years later now where I'm helping the client and member, where I'm able to explain to them that one experience early in my journey has taught me that I can choose to either do what they did, right? Which now they've changed, thankfully, because they now see a different perspective. But they reacted and then they stayed the victim. And I had to explain to them, if you stay the victim, then think about it. This is just an example. I'm not saying this is how the universe works, but if God was watching you and let's say God is the one that reflects everything for you. Let's just say he gives it to you, that it's a man up above and blah, 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 right? If that's the case, and the rule is you only manifest what you are, not what's natural to you, not what you want, then it's like, does it not make sense that if this is your natural reaction, where it's like you go back to the old you and this is now natural to you, like you just threw your hands up and said, oh, I give up. I'm back to the old me, right? Expecting the worst and blah, blah, blah. Like if God was watching, would he say, they definitely are that person? The answer is no, right? And that's what I explained to them. But I explained on my situation, I had my reaction just like them, but then I kind of felt, you know, it's like I felt it through and then I saw the logic of it and I was like, "You know what? I got 30 days. A lot can happen in 30 days." I took my power back and then I was back on track. I was only a victim for like a minute. And when that happened, that changed everything for me. So just like that, that's why I say, like, my one of my favorite quotes is, circumstances do not make the man, they simply show them who they believe they are. That circumstance showed me and it gave me an opportunity to let me decide, to let me show myself, who do I say I am, right? It's like scripture says. And when I got the bad news, I first said I was a victim. I first said that everything was falling apart. And then less than a minute later, I pretty much said I was the person that has it internally, and therefore I'm going to have it externally. And just like that, I then got it hours later. So that's something I want you to keep in mind, okay? So in your situation, just because you got this letter, if you've really been doing good with your mental diet, have the same perspective. Perhaps borrow my point of view at that time. It's like, hey, I've been doing great. What I've been doing has to catch up. Perhaps it's a reflection of the old, because that's the other direction, right? It could be the past silly decisions you've been making. That's past focuses that you never contradicted. That's okay. Let it pass out. Just like I let the negative pass through. And after that, it was only positive moving forward. And that kind of gave me this idea early on. It's like, hey, it's kind of like and I'm not gonna say this is like 100% factual, but it helped me piece things together. And I kind of viewed it like an assembly line. It's like, okay, so if it's negative, 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 good, 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 then it's like, okay, I'm not going to be shocked when I experience negative, 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 negative all the way, because I know that eventually, from what I've experienced at that time, it was like a line. It's I directly got what I gave in order that I gave it, right? And I'm not saying that this is 100% a fact, but that's just how I viewed it. That's the data I took from that experience. So it helped me piece things together to be like, oh, so it's if the good, like if I'm experiencing the bad, and I know I haven't been doing that well, but I know that eventually I started doing well and really being consistent, then how do I know it's not these decisions I've made, right? And remember, manifestation is not like every nanosecond is reflecting who you are. Like it's not reflecting exactly like who you are in that moment 24/7. It's not like that. The reason I say this is because, like I've said so many times, if you sit there and embody whatever state you want to embody, it doesn't matter. It could be $1 billion in your bank account. And for that moment, those 2 seconds that you embody that state and you look at your bank account and it doesn't show 2 billion, there's a reason for that. It's because that's not natural to you. It's because the world doesn't reflect what's not natural to you. So therefore, there's what appears to be a time delay. And that's just how or I explain it, right? And even Seth talks about this, right? And that's the beautiful part about it. A lot of people will quote Seth, but then they don't even dive into his work, and then they'll be like, "There's no delay," and it's like Seth literally tells you there actually is a delay because you only reflect what's natural to you. So the delay is not in the sense of like, oh, linear time is the truth. It's more so it just looks that way because you have to change your natural habits and your expectations, thoughts, emotions, and focuses, all these things, your beliefs. And doing that takes time in a linear sense, right? Show me one coach who on camera is going to change their belief instantly and reflect the result instantly. I'll wait. They don't exist because that's not how it's supposed to work. Okay. So, and yes, things can manifest instantly, but I'm just saying in general, it's not a common thing. Okay. And one second, I want to make sure I didn't miss one part. Ooh, that was like a lengthy answer too. I hope that kind of helped other people. I got a feeling that was going to be helpful to a lot of people too. So I'm excited to kind of hear the feedback on that in the future, because I know in the comments you guys are going to be like, "Oh my god, that was so helpful," and I love reading those comments. It lets me know that I'm yapping about the right things. And oh, sorry. And the last part I wanted to add before I move on to the next question is, you kind of mentioned it's like there's evidence the law hasn't worked, but to me, it's kind of like what I explain to any client that I work with that has lack of faith, right? Or they say, "Oh, the law is not working for me." Like for me personally, and Sarah, yeah, you hikey answered mine with that. That's so funny. See, exactly. That's exactly what I mean. I That's why I love, because sometimes I'm an overthinker and I'm aware that I talk a lot. I'm not I'm not lacking awareness. I know that I talk a lot, but it's because my brain works at like 1,000 miles per hour. And like the more passionate I am about something, the faster it works. And the law is like the thing that excites me the most. So when you guys ask me a question, it's not like I have to really think to myself and be like, huh, what is the answer to that? It's more, I get like downloads that just hit my brain from like a thousand different angles. And I'm also considering your perspective and how you're receiving the answers. I'm analyzing, is it going to be easy for their brain to digest not knowing what I know? And not in the sense of like, oh, I'm superior, I know these things. It's just you guys haven't read the same books I've read for as long as I've read them, and therefore you may not see certain perspectives that I see so far. Doesn't mean you won't get them, and some of you might have more perspectives. So I'm just talking in general. So that's why for me, it's like all this goes through my brain 24/7 when I talk law. And that's why I talk so much, because I have so much to say, and it's like I just want to get it out. So I'm glad that it's helping. Oh, Ash, there you are. I'm watching in the background and had to tell you that they changed it so premium users can press off the app now. It doesn't pause because it didn't before. Oh, wait. What? 1 second. So now you guys can get off and what? I didn't know this. I swear on my phone, I could have always done that though. So you're telling me that if you were watching my stream, you couldn't like get out of the app and still have me in the background playing while you open up, let's say, Instagram or something? Sarah, you're channeling like Seth. We literally pay to hear you jabber, so keep on. Oh, thank you so much. Honestly, when I get into these moments where like one idea opens 10 other doors and then I start like opening those doors and answering things, that's when I really feel I'm channeling like information from higher self. And that's why I yap so much. I fully trust my higher self, just like all of you should trust your higher self. My higher self is not even 0.00001% superior to yours in any sense. That's a beautiful thing. We're all the same. So I have the same like reassurance and the faith I have in my higher mind, my higher self. You guys can have that same faith and reassurance, and it's not going to backfire. Trust me. That is so interesting, Ash. Though, thank you. And Sarah, I know you asked a question earlier. I'm still going to answer it. Um, just give me a bit, okay? 1 second. I just want to get this next question lined up. Okay, so let me. Okay, hi, new internet bestie. My mental diet. And yes, Bruce, there's honestly more people that haven't even that joined that aren't even in chat. Wait, they might be watching though, because we do have some lurkers that just love to listen and they love hearing the answers because I guess that's their benefit too. And they'll never ask a question, which to me is insane. It's like I'd be taking full advantage. Like if I was in your guys' shoes, every throughout the week, any question I had, I'd write it down. And then on Sunday or whenever we do the stream, I'd be like, all right, I'm throwing it at Michael. Like that's how I would learn. I would break things down and I'd be studying on my free time too. Okay. Let me get back to the question. I've been knowing for wait, internet best my mental diet has been okay, it's been good. I've been in knowing for months, ignoring the 3D, but as weeks pass, I sometimes peek at the 3D and I'm like, huh, any tips to make this chop chop? Okay, you're right. I can now see how my answer to the member that left their question now kind of goes hand in hand. I see. There we go. Um Hey lurkers, I'm gonna be on your nerves. That's so funny. And I mean, to be honest, it's just like I said to the other member, right? And that's so funny. It actually answers it perfectly too. So just to reiterate, you get what you are, right? And think about it. If you're looking at remember, look at it from the idea of I know she's funny, isn't she? I love it. I love all you members. You guys are so funny. So think of it from this perspective. And remember, I'm not saying this is 100% factual. I'm saying borrow this perspective if it helps you kind of see things clearer because it used to help me. And I still teach it to people that are new. Like I'm talking brand new. Because in my opinion, a little white lie that still like it kind of forces you to live by the law without knowing it because it's a little white lie does wonders for you than knowing the truth but not believing in it. So what I mean by that is think of it like this. If God's watching you and he's saying, I'm only gonna reward Sarah if she's not BSing me. Like if I know for a fact and I know in her heart, I feel it that she knows this is her. This is natural to her. Like she's more focused on the experience and the having and the loving and the being with the SP and this and that and or the money, whatever, anything that she wants. If it's really her, I'll give it to her. And then you now think from God's perspective, if he's like sitting on a cloud watching you, right? Do you think he would say, "You know what? She's looking around for it." That's clearly a sign that she is enjoying the experience being the woman that she needs to be to get the reflection. and she's instead not BSing herself, which do you think God would kind of look at you as? And when you kind of realize the answer yourself, you'll be like, oh, your focus should be, and this is for everybody, every single person here, your focus should always be the experience. It should always be the experience. The experience comes, sorry, I'm speaking my mic. Experience comes number one. And because think about it, if you experience being in love, if you're manifesting, let's say, money and financial freedom, so you're experiencing being loved and financial freedom, and you embody feeling that the weights off your shoulders, and you feel good, and you feel like, oh my god, I have my partner and all the money in the world, and you feel that excitement right then and there. What do you think you're doing in that moment when you're really enjoying it? You're having the experience. You're in the awareness that I am this person. You're saying God is this person that's loved and has the financial freedom and blah, blah, blah. Right. And when we go back to worrying about the third party, worrying about the 3D or bills or so on and so on, you know what we're also saying? We're saying God is a victim to money. God needs money. So manifest God more experiences where they need money. And oh wait, Bruce, I'm sorry. Wait, I feel like you asked something. Oh, my bad, Bruce. You know what? I realized I miss you too. I'm gonna get back to you too. Don't worry about that. I have you. Just seeing your comment sparked the question that, or the thing that you said earlier. I'm so glad you mentioned something. Um, what's it called? But that's what it is. That's why, that question of who do you say I am is one of the most important questions in the world, because the answer to that is what you're saying God is, what is true of God. Remember, you are God, not in full form. You come from the God in full form. Because remember, you're in a dream, like you fragmented yourself, and you, as Neville said, you keyed yourself low, and you threw yourself into this training ground that you created and into these vessels, because this is the only way that God, all that is, could ever experience any form of separation. But the truth is, there's never been any separation ever. Everything is God, right? Even hatred is God. Like Seth says, you can't hate someone that you aren't capable of loving. Even hatred is made of love. So remember that it's just love in a different direction. It's love being channeled in a different way, because everything is love at the end of the day. So one second, I don't want to lose that question. So when you start focusing on the experience of being love, that's when love finds you. But when you're focused on the experience of, oh, I'm only going to do this because it's supposed to reflect, but I'm going to look for it and be impatient and da da da, and not really be the person, be aware of the person, then of course God's not going to reward you. And remember, when I say God's not going to reward you, I'm not saying that there's an outside source or an outside God. It's just to help piece things together. It's referring to my example of if he was watching you, because a lot of people don't read the books, or haven't studied them for as long as others have, and therefore they might not understand the deeper perspectives of things. So that's why I kind of worded that way. I was asking me something similar. Why do I expect something different and get disappointed at a 3D if I'm still the same? Yeah, I mean that's 100% true. That's the truth, Bruce. That's the beautiful part. I Even myself, I always laugh at myself, because it's sometimes I catch myself and I'm focusing on the thing I shouldn't be focusing on. I'm being bothered by it, or placing my awareness anywhere where it shouldn't be. And I would laugh because I'm like I can't even complain, because I'm being an idiot, and I just laugh at myself, and I'm like, "Oh, that's so funny." And then from there, I do what needs to be done. But even I catch myself sometimes, and when things aren't changing the way that I want them to change, I can always laugh, because I see why. Like, I will never ever ever apply the law and be in a situation where I'm like, I did everything perfect. Why is it not here? Like, ever, I could never be there. And it's just because I made so many mistakes. I've also manifested so many different things for myself, and good and bad, and more bad than good, to be honest, in the past. So I use the bad. I use it to fuel myself, to see the evidence of the law all around me as well. So trust me, it's a beautiful thing. Oh no. Wow, only 4 hours of sleep. You're crazy. Thank God the week is over. Yeah, 100%. Wow, 4 hours. I usually get like five ish, but if I get four, I'd be dead tired. Okay, one second. What was the question? Week was bad. I realized what I'm doing isn't working because I am not working changing. So I'm reflecting if there's anything that I need time. to process and let go, took a break from manifesting. Okay, Bruce, 100%. It's not bad to, take a step back, zoom out, and then, check your game plan. Be like, okay, what am I doing? Do I really want to die to my old self for this result? Like, am I willing to let go of the BS? And if the answer is no, and you still need to kind of you still need to hold that resentment because you believe you need to, or whatever it is, then I'm not gonna say it's good, but I understand is what I'm gonna say. I understand. Some things, time is the only thing I've known to heal it. And if I knew a magical technique, I would be the first one to make a video about it. But trust me, there is no magical technique. Sometimes when you have resentment or like deep anger and all these things due to certain experiences. But what I will say is, you know, it, you are, and I don't take this the wrong way, but you're in a very privileged position. And for me personally, I think this is me gambling. I think you are going to decide that you are willing to die to your old self. The reason I say this is because it's not like it's not like you guys have kids together, and it's not like you got cheated on, like, after you have, like, kids for 10 years, and there's all this bonding and, like, they just told you a week before, "Oh, I would never cheat on you," and then they ended up doing it. It's not like there's people that I work with that have it so bad, and this is not to discredit your situation at all. It's more so to give you a healthier perspective. So when I say you're in a privileged position, what I mean is, like, you have the right to be upset, but trust me, if you were trade like, if I could trade your life and situation with the pain and the life of other clients I work with and help and have helped, I think if you could experience that for like 30 seconds and then put you back in your life, you'd be like, "Holy crap, what am I doing wasting my time? My God, sweetie, I love you. Come back to me. Let's go." Like, that's what I really think, like, genuinely. And I hope that came off in like a non-rude way. I probably could have worded it better. So I apologize if it kind of offended you in any sense. It's more so I'm trying to explain to you, because remember, I'm not belittling your situation. I know that it hurts to have to watch them, be happy without you, or ignore you, and so on and so on. But think about it, like, you have to admit, are you not happier that this is your problem instead of being a child soldier in Africa or something else, right? And it's not to say, oh, there's people suffering, so you can't feel bad, but just look at it for what you could be grateful for, is what I'm trying to say. Find the good in your situation. Be like, you know what? It could have been 100 times worse. And therefore, let me now look at it from this perspective. Am I now willing to die to my old self? And if that's the case, there's your answer. Okay. That's all I meant. Whew, okay. Let me get to the next question. One second. And this is from the newest member. They actually joined less than 24 hours ago, I believe. So they said, "Hey Michael, I'm a new member of the channel and I just recently started my manifesting journey and I'm having a bit of fun learning everything, and I even ordered the collection of Neville Goddard books that I'm excited to read." First of all, round of applause. One second. Okay. You got my round of applause. You have my respect. I always respect anyone when they get into the journey. If the first thing they do is go straight to the books, because that's what I did. And I'm not saying that what I did is the best thing in the world. It's just what helped me. Yes, exactly. Applause. And it's just what helped me learn. And I believe if I didn't do it this way, I'd be years behind. So I'm glad that this is the path I took, and I'm glad to see other people walking that path. That's where I come from. Okay. One second. I most likely won't be able to make it to this stream. No problem, 100%. I get it. But I did have two things that I want a clarification on. I'm aware of the term creation is finished, but I was just wondering if there are SPs that are unattainable for certain people due to something innate or any other reason. For example, what if I had an SP that wasn't into my gender? Would something like that be true for all realities, making it so I could never manifest them? Okay, so I'll pause there and I'll answer that first. First things first, no, like, there's nothing outside of you. Like, this is why I love the law, and this is why I love studying it. And as you study it and you read the books, I think you're gonna find very similar perspectives to what I'm saying. And remember, there's always, always, always consistent messages between the greatest teachers that ever taught this. Okay. The consistent messages are that there's nothing outside of yourself. There's no separation. God is nearer to you than your hands and feet. And, like, there's not even a gap, like, even a pinhole of a gap of separation between you and God. Like that's how powerful we are, okay? And we are the cause of our own reality. This is our personal reality. The way the game is made is that we are God, in other words, being conscious and experiencing itself through itself. And he's it's it's God experiencing itself through billions of different perspectives. Me, I'm Michael. I identify as Michael as a human. I know I'm a soul. I don't know what my soul's actual name is. I'd have to talk to higher self for that and really kind of get, figure that out. But where I stand right now, I don't know what soul. Just like Seth had, calls Jane Roberts a different name, right? Doesn't call her Jane. Calls him, there's Rupert and I'm trying. There's another person that channels. I'm trying to forget. Not Bashar. If it comes to me, I'll bring it up. But anyways, it's like all these people. Hey, anyways, they all have this message, and there's no separation. And you understand that in this training ground, you're experiencing yourself, and therefore, you're like you're in full control. That's why Seth explains this is your personal reality because you are the cause. You're just experiencing your God experiencing God or all that is through your own identity, your own little spark, your own little fragment of God in the eyes of Michael. So that's why for me, when I manifest all my desires, right? All the SPs, all the financial stuff, all the lovely things. That think of it like it getting sent back to like the source and it benefits every single soul. And we us in our full form gets to see all the perspectives. We get to experience it all. And we learn and we grow. And it's just infinite evolution. It's beautiful. So when you kind of look at it like that, you realize, okay, so at the very core, there's nothing outside of me, the soul, in my personal earth that can really be the cause of anything. And the consistent message has always been that. So I will be the first to tell you that even if they're not into your gender or whatever, I know it seems unlikely, and that's just your societal conditioning. But I'm telling you, I've seen these exact scenarios play out with people that I've worked with, and some have gotten success and some haven't. The ones that didn't get success, the only reason they didn't was not because there's an outside control, it's because they weren't willing to die to their old self. It's not that they weren't able to, everybody's able to. It's they weren't ready. And that's their journey. They have to pay those lessons, or sorry, go through those lessons and pay the tolls and learn the lessons and evolve as a soul too. That's just how it is. But they could have chosen a different journey. That's the beautiful part. We get to choose our journey. It's like, okay, do you want your guy or girl faster? Okay, then let's live by the law. How do you live by the law? You learn about it, and you did the best thing you could have done. You got the books that teach it. So take your notes as you read. And when something inspires you and makes your problem seem, uh, you know, like something that can be accomplished, that's when I want you to write that down and memorize that. Like, why does that make you feel powerful? Like, now look at your problems through that thing. That's how you start getting this arsenal where you kind of see things very similar to how I do with understanding behind everything. Okay. Oh my god, you guys in the chat kill me. I love seeing all the applause. And for my next question, let's say that someone I wasn't interested in was trying to manifest me and they applied techniques perfectly, had a good mental diet, etc. I love this. I love these questions, by the way. If I am understanding things correctly, since I am in control of my own reality, they obviously wouldn't be able to manifest me in my reality. Yes, thumbs up, 100%. I approve that understanding for sure. I'm happy that you've concluded that, or at least you found that. So would this be an example of the law failing someone? Okay, I see what the disconnect now is. Okay, good, good. This is exciting. See, I love when I see people new to the law and they ask these questions. Like it lights up a fire in me because it reminds me of myself. And I remember just being so full of hope and so afraid at the same time when I discovered the law. And man, I swear my higher self cheated or something. Like it shouldn't have been that easy. I swear it cheated or something. It didn't. I don't know if it did something it wasn't supposed to do, um, but it made those first 3 days and to be honest, the first 6 days so easy that I got my results like 3 days one after the other. And I always reflect back and I think to myself, it's like, man, if that never happened, like imagine if the first manifestation never happened, I would have never had the faith and the inspiration to then test out SP. And then I would have never got SP success. And that SP success was the nail in the coffin that 100% put my faith in the law after that. And it was the moment that I didn't say this to myself. It was the decision I made without thinking about it. But somewhere in me, something snapped, like clicked, and in that moment, without realizing it, I decided to dedicate my life to the law. And when I did that, it's like I'm here now, years later, teaching you guys, and I've never stopped studying. So for me personally, when I see people like you that are excited and asking these questions, I know to some people they might be like, "Oh, that's such a dumb question," blah blah blah. Trust me, not to me. I get it. I fully get it, and you're gonna like this answer. So, and by the way, guys, sorry in the chat. I know you guys asked some stuff. I'm gonna get to you. I promise. I try to get the ones that aren't here so that way they can watch the replay. But I feel like they're gonna have to watch the whole thing to get the answer because I talk so freaking much. Okay. Um, so anyways, the reason I see the disconnect is because everything was good until you said, would this be an example of the law failing someone? Because right then and there, and this is how my brain works, my brain goes, oh, they think that we share the same reality. They think that Earth is just one big club and we're all in there and we all share a personal reality. It's like, no, it's not how it works. So the truth is there's unlimited me's, right? So there's versions of me that are straight. There's versions of me that are, in other words, gay. There's versions of me that are like different colors. You name it, different races. I could be Indian. I could be Chinese. I could be from Jamaica. You name it, doesn't matter. And I'm this version. So in all these versions, I have different bank accounts, right? Different scars, different experiences, different skills, right? Maybe I'm a professional piano player and all I do is, drugs and play piano, but I'm the best piano player to ever live, and there's realities where I'm homeless. And all these realities exist and they're all available for me if I wish to experience in them, right? And I'm existing in every single one of them. The same way that right now in my reality, I'm sitting in my pretty much office slash studio where I do all my videos and stuff. I have a microphone here. I'm well aware this is the same, the Joe Rogan microphone, the most expensive podcasters use. It's like I'm aware. It's like I'm privileged, right? I know what I have in my bank account. I know that I could afford these things. I'm aware of certain facts about my life, and this is real to me. This microphone is real to me, right? This boom arm from Shure, the same brand as the microphone, is real to me. This shirt is real to me, right? And this is my reality. Like I know when I'm done the stream, I'm gonna get up, turn to my left, and I'm gonna probably get something to eat, right? I'm gonna make something or at least grab a drink. And that's what I know. That's real to me. But the same way that this stream is real to me, and the same way that you're listening to me talk, and you might think, oh, I'm the only awareness. There's no other awareness. No, no, no. There's unlimited versions of you with the exact same awareness that are probably thinking the exact same thing when they think of this topic. So when you kind of realize that and you kind of notice, it's like, wait a second. So that means since we each have our personal reality, now is where I'm going to connect us together again. Okay. So the disconnect was that we're separate, but the truth is what's going to happen is think of it like this. Imagine you're riding a train and you guys are co-creating and then they decide, oh, I'm going to start manifesting you. So what's going to happen if you don't want them? This is you, right? You're my left hand. It might look to your right on my screen, but this is my left hand that I'm shaking. That's you. And you don't want them. You're going to kind of go this way and they're going to keep going straight. So what this means is in your personal reality, because your free will cannot be impeded on, you will not experience being in love with them. You won't fall for them. And no matter what, no matter how good their mental diet is, and even in your reality, if their mental diet is perfect, they'll never get you. And that version is supposed to be the version that never gets you. Right. But the thing is like, even though it looks in your end that he did everything perfect or she did everything perfect, and that it's not working for you, there's realities where, like, for example, you have no idea from their eyeballs, they have their own personal reality. They could be experiencing a whole different version of you. And that's the beautiful part. And that's why Seth and Neville and all the greats all tell us we have our own personal realities. And therefore, that's why I say we branch off. You go to your personal reality where you never experienced that. You never experienced holding their hand or kissing them or being their partner. And they'll go to a reality depending on their beliefs. So if they have the beliefs to manifest you in their perspective through their eyeballs, right? Just like how I'm wearing an Under Armour hat through your eyeballs, this might be a Nike hat through my eyeballs, right? It all depends. So through their eyeballs, they're reflecting and pushing out their own experiences. If they have the beliefs to manifest you, there's going to be a version of you, because remember, there's unlimited earths, unlimited probable realities. Think of it like um possible potential realities, potential meaning whatever you focus on. That's why it's potential, because you can experience it. It's there waiting for you to embody it. So when you realize it's all existing, every single scenario where you guys hate each other, love each other, hold hands, kiss, whatever it is, all this stuff, it all exists, and they're going to reflect the version of you in all that exists, that then wants to, with their free will, be with them. But you're never going to experience those feelings for them, because you're not that version. It's against your free will, and therefore you will never see it. So that's kind of how it works. Okay. Ooh, okay. That was a good one. Let's see. One second. I'm not trying to debunk the law or anything. And I get it, right? I know you're not trying to debunk the law. It's trust me, I know you're not paying for the tier 2 membership. I know it's not cheap. It's still a third of the cost of working with me, but I still know it's not cheap. I know you wouldn't do that to just waste time and argue or whatever. I get it. It's a genuine question. And I'm glad that you asked these questions. These are questions that should be asked. But the beautiful part is, it's like, look, you don't even got to believe in these concepts. Just test the law for yourself, and you can find your own ways of believing in things. But that's kind of how it works. They're going to either experience, if they have the belief system to manifest you, then they'll push out a version of you that you'll never be aware of, but with their free will wants to do that. And you're never going to experience it, because you're not meant to do that. Not this version of you, at least. Okay, last question, guys, and then I'll finish up the chat with you guys. I promise. Let me check on the chat 1 second. I know you guys have been social monies. Okay, 1 second. I try to reset, but I get so sleepy in the 1 hour commute. I'm on the Frederick Dotson Parallel Universe of Self. Nice. Okay. Yeah. I mean, to be honest, there's nothing wrong with trying out different authors as well. I've read so many different authors, but I've always, after going through everybody, I just, for me personally, Seth and Neville Goddard, probably the only two people I'll ever need to study my whole life. Truth, if I'm being honest. Um, but trust me, I use Seth to go to sleep. Actually, I do my whole night ritual, and then I get my Kindle, which is like right here, by the way. 1 second. Say hello to my Kindle, and I just read. I read like the little nerd I am, and I fall asleep. Trust me, Seth makes me sleep too. So I use it to my advantage. I get into Seth so easy. Let's see. Um, what are your Theo? No, that's not the one. It'll come to me. I'll make a post about it. What are your thoughts around tears? Like, you fulfill yourself on a scene with SP and tears come up. Pfft, I've I've had that almost happen today, actually, with a different goal though. It's a good thing. You kidding me? Like, oh, if I could reach that naturally without like forcing it, where I get myself in the moment, and like I was doing my 15 minutes of just sitting there and just bathing in fulfillment, just going after one goal after the other, after the other, after the other, different scenes. Like, I wasn't focusing on the vividness of the scene. I was more focused on the emotion. I love feeling the emotion. The emotion for me tells me I did everything perfect. So I kept feeling everything I wanted to experience, right? I kept feeling what I wanted my life to be like. I kept thinking of the business, like whatever hurdles I have, I felt the relief of them solved. I felt the relief of new contracts. I felt the relief of XYZ and blah, blah, blah. All these lovely things. And, you know, and in the process of all my goals, I got not emotional, but like I felt where if I really wanted to squeeze out tears, I could have cried for sure. But it was from just gratitude of just like feeling like I already got there. It's as if I was looking back with nostalgia. And when I do that, it's like I'm like, yes, because that's to me, that's like a supercharged seed. It's like, as Neville and Seth both confirmed, the higher the intensity of the emotion, the stronger the impact. And I know there's people that are gonna be like, the emotions aren't the cause and blah blah blah. It's no one's saying that, man. Read Seth and Neville, you'll understand. And I'm not saying that's you guys. I'm mocking coaches in a playful way. And because I've seen some coaches. Oh yeah, I forgot. Sorry, I was gonna say I wish I could name you guys, and then I was gonna name someone, but then I realized that's one of you guys that asked me to not name you guys when I use these examples. But I have there's there's only a handful of people that kind of send me clips that are either members or clients of mine, and it's usually clips that they clip from other coaches, right? And sometimes they'll say things like directly. opposite of what I'm saying, and then that scares them. So then I have to watch this whatever this 1 minute clip they send, or 10-second clip, or 2 minute clip. They're nice enough to clip it for me, so I'm not gonna watch the whole thing, and then I have to kind of explain and debunk certain things. And some coaches will like quote Seth as an example, or Neville, and or they'll read a quote that someone's asking them about, and they completely misinterpret like what's said. And it's like they'll say things that scare you guys, right? Like manifestation is always instant and blah blah blah. And they make it sound like if you're doing like emotions are there's no point of playing around with them, which is false. Because if you're quoting Seth, then how can you like nitpick and be like, oh, I'm gonna totally ignore the parts where Seth's literally gave evidence as to the validity of emotions and what it means and how it works in the framework of reality. But then we're gonna be like, emotions aren't anything, but we're gonna still quote Seth. Like, it makes no sense. Or quoting Neville, and you know, just silliness, and being like, oh, that's this doesn't work, and da da da. It's like, buddy, like just try it. Like, just test it for yourself, Um, so that's why I'm glad the other members, by the way, reading and stuff like that, because you gotta get to learn these things yourself. And I get it. Some of you guys get scared when you hear this stuff, and that's why I think I might even make a video talking about the speed of manifestation, of how it no, it's not instant in the way that people think. Because I got so many emails recently on the topic. Um, wait 1 second, and oh wait 1 second. Hey, hold on. Higher self, Michael. Thank you for sharing the cheat code. Oh, you're welcome, Sarah. Um, 1 second. Okay, I have one more question to get through. I'm just gonna finish reading the chat real quick. By the way, a couple live streams ago, you made things click for me around negative thoughts. I remember you said if the thought keeps coming up, it means you're reacting to it. Yes, 100%. All right. In other words, you're keeping it alive, because remember, this is why I love that. We have now 57 hours worth of, or actually longer than 57 hours worth of live streams alone in the membership, especially for the tier 2, because some membership videos, like some lives, don't get put to the tier 1s or public sometimes, especially if I feel there's stuff that gives away too much privacy of the members. So when you kind of reflect on these things, as you're noticing, it's like clicking to you now, right, Danny? And you're able to see, it's like, wait a second, what does Neville say about being the vine of life, and how you're aware, and it's like, in other words, think of yourself like a tree, and your branches are the things that you keep aware, like they're only living because you're aware of them. So maybe one branch is the problem with SP, maybe another branch is financial problems, right? Or the career problems. So when you understand that those branches are their circumstances, but within those circumstances are beliefs that spawn those branches, that spawn those circumstances. So when you understand that that branch is only there because you keep giving life to the belief, therefore you understand, number one, where does an idea or a thought come from? A belief. Where does an emotion come from? A belief. So if you then are feeling something negative or thinking something negative, you can logically conclude that it's coming because you currently stepped into a belief system that would allow that. So now that you know this, does it make sense to then take it personal and say, oh, I'm going to be upset at this idea? Or instead, does it make sense to be like, wait a minute, I know where you're coming from, you sneaky little snake, right? You are coming from a belief that I wasn't aware I stepped into just now. And that belief is spawning these stupid ideas. Not today, Satan. And just like that, you can just laugh at it, and that's a beautiful part. So I'm glad that things can click with you. And that's the point of these live streams. That's why I yap so much. I know that maybe in 90% of what I say when I'm doing a rant might not click with you guys. But then there's always that one sentence in there that it's just, you hear it and it's like boom, holy grail. So just remember, i- like, the law is simple. It's so repetitive in a fun way. It's like black and white. Once you understand it, you can see things for what they are, and you don't have to take it personal. So the fact that that thought keeps coming up, it's because you keep reacting to it. And now that you evaluate it, you realize, oh crap, wait a minute, I kept that branch alive. Let's figure out what belief I keep stepping into that would cause a stupid thought. And let's stop going back to that belief. Let's go to the lovelier beliefs. Okay. Like, it's that, like, that's how fun it can be. It's just have it's about taking what information you learn from me or reading the books, and kind of a like seeing, okay, how can I apply what he said or she said in into this idea that's scaring me? And that's the beautiful part about the law. It's personal. That's why I explain to you the concepts and I give you my personal perspectives and opinions and experiences. And I allow you guys to then extract the data and be like, I'm going to use this way instead. And that's what I'm here for. Let's see. Higher self. There we go. Good for me because I'm triple water side. Emoting is my Olympic sport. That's so funny. I love that. Thank you for validating my tears comment. Oh, no problem, Danny. 100%. It's good. I would be jumping for joy if I could get that charged up energy. Oh my god, I'd be so happy all the time. I'd get my results probably so much faster. Neville himself has said your emotion is what helps fuse you to the belief, to the state. He says state, but if you Google, sorry, not Google, but if you look at what Neville defines a state, he just means a set of beliefs. That's it. So it fuses you with the beliefs, long story short. And Seth explains that your manifestations can be accelerated using positive emotions, right? Using emotions. So the two are pretty much saying the same thing in different ways. And when you understand that, you can kind of be like, wait a second, huh? So if I feel a positive emotion, then at least I know an emotion comes from what? A belief. So if I wasn't feeling that positive emotion before I did my imaginal act, does that not tell me that I did it correctly then? And there you go. Boom. Orange, thank you for the reminder. Thank you for the reminder. Sorry. Yes, you're right. You are 100% right. 1 second. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Hey, Michael, I was doing good, but I don't know where I changed. Lately, I've been depressed. Okay. Remember, depression, I don't know if this is like a fact, but this is what I've always said, and it makes sense to me from a law perspective. But depression is us focused on the past. Anxiety is us focusing on the future. So if you're depressed, I want you to really consider what you're focusing on, and just really think to yourself, like what is causing you to be depressed specifically. I was doing good, but I don't know where I changed lately. Been depressed. I'm having money issues. I get it. Hours cut at work, etc. I want to become financially well, find a career I enjoy. I want to be well so I don't worry about money when I start having kids with my partner. Okay, Orange, to be honest, there's so many different approaches to this, right? And the beautiful part is you get to kind of play around with what inspires you the most. So for me and my perspective, right? If I end up in a situation where I'm having money issues and hours are being cut and so on and so on, I would first evaluate. Like if you've been someone that's been trying to manifest money and but you've been really conditioning it and 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 you may not realize that that might be what's making it hard for you to kind of be consistent. I want you to perhaps try a different perspective. And what I mean by this is, and I was doing this today, I caught myself really conditioning something. I was conditioning a specific contract for business, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I have a belief that if I just like if I just focus on what I want my life to feel like as opposed to trying to see what my life looks like, that is easier for me and gets me results faster. So what I want you, perspective I want you to just think about is it's okay that if you're conditioning, in other words, trying to see specific numbers in your bank account or see yourself with a specific job. But in between doing that, I want you to also play around with the idea of just being financially free. Like it, suspend all judgment. Just focus on the feeling of being financially free. Like never having to check prices at the grocery store, never having to react negatively to a bill you see, like a tag. Like for example, I went to Harry Rosen not that long ago, and I saw a jacket that I really liked, and I remember going to like in high school, I used to go to that store, and I used to just look because I'm like, wow, this is where rich people shop. And I would see the price tags on like like a blazer there, and I'd be like, what the hell? And I saw like it was a blazer actually there. It was a beautiful one, a nice olive green. And for me, especially in the summer, olive green, I should have got like it's my color. Like it looks so damn good on me. And I feel so good in it. I love olive green in the summer. And the beautiful part about it is like when I saw it, I looked at the price tag. It was like 3,000 or something. I know for a fact in high school, I used to be like, whoa. But as an adult, I can look at it and I just look at it. And my first thought isn't like, oh, how am I going to afford that? Or this is too expensive. It's more so like, is it worth the money? And that's normal to me now. Right. And that came because I was focusing on the feeling of being financially free many, many years ago. And today I still am. So in your case, I want you to evaluate where you're putting your focus, right? If you're putting your focus on all the things that are bad and then dwelling in it, which is then making you depressed, remember, as much as I care about you and as much as I want you to succeed, I can't manifest for you. Like, I can't mental diet for you. You have to make a decision to say, you know what? If I got here, it could only be, and this is the truth. And this is just like what I call the cold hard truth. And I say this with love. You can only get there if you had the beliefs or expectations, the thoughts, the emotions to lead you there. Okay. One second. Let me get some water. My throat's so dry. Okay. Sorry about that. And so for me, I would first reflect, how do I get here? And when you kind of realize and you see how you got here, right? And I'm sure you'll find, right, in the past, maybe you're doing good for 2, 3 days. Who knows? I'm not saying those 2 to 3 days were the cause of it, but how do you know that maybe a week ago, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, you weren't focusing really bad on stuff and you never contradicted it, right? So when you kind of see how you got here, I want you to really use that to give yourself your power and understand is like there's a choice has to be made from this point forward. You can either focus on the negative, focus on all the bad things, focus on why things haven't worked out and blah blah blah. But deep down inside, we both know if, like for example, my situation, right? When I got the worst news in the world and I had my reaction, I didn't dwell in that afterwards. I wasn't like sad and depressed about it and so on and so on. I didn't dwell in negative. I really had to make a decision. I had to define my life. Am I going to be the guy that almost had it and then now this is my life? I'm the guy that almost had it, or am I going to say enough is enough? I gave myself a 30-day window. I'm only on day 3. Who am I to be so impatient? And therefore, I chose the better option. And thank God I did, because I'm here now today, right? And I might not be here today if I didn't, to be honest. So if that's the case, then for me, when I look at your situation, I know how you got here, and I know the same way you got here is the same way you get out. You don't get there by having perfect beliefs, thoughts, emotions, and expectations. You just don't. That's the truth. So you have to figure out in your mind, because I can't see your brain for you, obviously, right? But I'm sure you'll find deep down, when you're really genuine with yourself, you'll see reasons. You'll see why things haven't changed, right? And if your focus was good, then my answer to another member earlier applies perfectly to you. View it in the sense of, okay, I just didn't allow the good to catch up then. And that's all it was. And then get back on the wagon. One second. Let's see. Okay, I didn't miss that. Okay. And okay, so I have one last question for left for the people that are not going to be here. Let me just answer this one before I forget, and I'm gonna try to cover it and not miss the detail that they need. So, hi Michael, I love the advice from the last section. Can you give us advice on detaching from intrusive, opposing thoughts? And I replied to them, and they pretty much said basically how to redirect the mind from. They expanded and said how to redirect the mind from negative thoughts without flipping them from a state of fear. Because I'm worried that if I don't, I'm returning to a negative. Okay, well, the first things first, right? Remember, I've always told people this. My message has always been consistent, because the law doesn't change. And this is why I always say, if you want to know if someone's telling the truth, look at their story. Does it change? The concepts have never changed. Go back to my first video, my first TikTok, if you want. Watch all of it. Watch all this crap, all my videos on YouTube, every social media. It's always been the same. And there's one message I've always been consistent with, and it's, you can observe a thought, and observing it doesn't like make you guilty. Observing it doesn't. Hold on, what the hell is this little? Oh, that's so cool. I could do things with the audience. That is so cool. Okay. What the heck? Okay, sorry about that. ADD brain. And I just saw a little blue pop up, and I'm like, what the hell is that? And oh, a squirrel. you know. And anyways, so you can observe an idea, and observing an idea doesn't make you guilty of embodying it. Remember, think of it right now. I want you to, you know, for example, if you knew that you had a yellow shirt and I said, "Oh, your red shirt is stupid," you'd be like, "This guy's colorblind, or he's an idiot," right? You're not gonna take it personal. You're not gonna take it personal, right? You're gonna have the idea of the negative thing I said, but you're observing it. You're choosing to not take it personal. You're choosing to not react to it. You're observing it. You're observing the stupidity of my comment. The law is very similar, right? A thought can come in, and you can observe the stupidity of it. You can observe and say, this is something I want to give life to, and therefore I'm going to invest my energy into it. Or, In other words, I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to observe and not give my energy to it. And instead, I'm going to just let it pass by because I know for a fact if I didn't feel a negative emotion, that means I didn't believe in anything. And if I didn't believe in it, then how can it manifest if it's not my natural belief? So there we go. I didn't give it any power, not even, no seeds planted. That's the power of observation. There's no need to flip, right? Of course, I'm a perfectionist, so I do the little. I don't call it a flip. It's more so because a flip sounds like work. It's not really work. Like think about it. Pink elephant. If you thought about a pink elephant, did that take effort? Was that hard? No. And if you say it's hard, and you know, I wish I had a spray bottle so I could spray you with water to anyone that thinks it's hard. Because that's not true. You guys are just lazy if that's the case. It takes no effort. You can jump to any positive idea. A bank account with 10,000 or 100,000 cash in it if you want. Like that's all I do. Like I don't have to like react to it, but at least I finish with a pleasant, lovely idea. And that's how I view things, right? And if you don't want to flip it, that's fine. Don't flip it either. You don't have to go anywhere. Observe it, right? To the understanding of remember, a thought itself is not going to harm you. A thought itself, because think about it. If you think thinking thoughts, and if you don't flip them, that it's going to be negative, and oh, I'm afraid it's going to manifest, and you know, I'm keep returning to negative. That's like insanity. Why would you torture yourself like that? And you know, sorry, I just saw that in the chat, and like that's so stressful. How the hell would God live like that? That makes no sense to me. So what I would do in your shoes is instead observe it and be like, wait a second, I can observe an idea that I don't like. I can choose, hey, do I ask God? Because remember, if you react negatively to it, you're answering the question in the Bible, who do you say I am? You're saying, I, God, am a victim. Therefore, because this reality has to obey God and bow down to my commands and what I say is true, make me a victim, please. Manifest more victim 3D. Thank you. Is that what you want? No, right? So through that, that's how I make it playful, right? Make it playful for yourself. See it that way if it helps you borrow that perspective. But when you understand the idea itself is not going to ruin your life because you're not identifying with it. And if you don't identify with it, then how can it ruin your life? It makes no sense. So therefore, where's the fear coming from? It makes no sense. It comes from just lack of understanding. And that's okay because now you understand, right? The thought is not going to ruin your life. Remember, you should be, if it helps the mind to kind of have an instruction, think of it like this. If there's no negative, if you don't give negative emotion to it, therefore it didn't score. It doesn't count. It's neutral. You're still good. You're still where you started. Okay, great. And just like that, you can pass it. And then maybe 10 minutes later, maybe naturally your desire hits you. Now is a good time to invest all the emotion you want from that point forward. And just like that, now you're playing the game. Now you're making the right choices when you should be making the right choices. Okay. So when you see a thought that's intrusive or opposing, just like remember, it comes from a belief. So you stepped into a belief that now spawned the silly thought. And now you get the choice. You get to say, hey, I'm going to react negatively to this stupid idea that came from this stupid belief I slipped into. And that's going to reinforce that belief. And therefore, it's going to keep popping up. And then I'm going to be upset and be like, Michael, why does it keep happening? That's the most common thing. Or you can be like, I now know the trick, that little sneaky bastard. If I react to it, I'm naturalizing that belief. And that's why it's going to keep popping up. I'm going to stand up to the bully and say, no, I'm God. I'm in control of my brain. I can decide if I want to observe and react, knowing it'll be my future, or observe and not react, which is me declaring I am not that victim. And just like that, you now have a healthier way of looking at things moving forward. Okay. Whew. I hope that helped. And if you need any more clarification, please let me know in the comments of this video because I don't think you're here. Oh wait, you are here right now. And leave it in the replay, and I can type up a little thingy for you if you need. Okay. Michael, can you quickly comment on my comment that starts with yes? Okay, let's see. 1 second. Hmm. Let me see. Where is the okay? Yes, like I get frustrated and feeling heartbreak at SP in the 3D. But why would I expect something different from her? And I keep focusing on I'm frustrated with myself. Oh, I thought I did reply to this already, but maybe not in the detail that I could, I guess. I mean, to be honest, it's just to reiterate what I said though, it's true. Like nothing changed from like 20, 30 minutes ago. You know, Like, how can you be shocked? It makes no sense to be there and be shocked that things aren't changing. Think about it. Look at your mental habits. You keep looking at what she's doing and getting upset at what she isn't doing, which is talking to you and giving you the love and da da da. And you're looking at her being happy without you. And then what are you doing with your brain? You're redirecting it to negative. You're jumping to the worst expectations. You're perfectly applying the law to yourself, right? So it's like, for me, this is why I said, and this is how I know I answered your to an extent. Like, remember, and this is more of like a perspective I was sharing with you. That's why I say you have a position of privilege. Like, you're in a good spot. Like, you can sit there and get frustrated if you want, but in my opinion, you and there's no nice way to say this. So I say this with love. That's all I'm saying. You got no right to be upset. Think about it. If you're gonna like, if you really want her, because trust me, like, I know what, like, really loving someone feels like. I know what it is. When I first manifested my first SP back, let me tell you, like, I had this hunger, like, I needed her. I didn't just want her. I wasn't like, "Oh, I want this person to be my SP." It was deeper than that. It was so deep. Like, I don't even have words to describe it. Like, I wanted her. Like, I needed her so bad. I loved her so much. I wasn't ready to lose her. And that's what made it so easy for me to doubt on myself. And that's why for me, it's like, if you really like, if you really say that you love her and you really say you want her, why aren't you acting like it? And that's why I say you got no right to be upset, because like, it's different if someone shot you with a shotgun and you survived, like, they blew half your brain out. I'm sorry for being gross to the girls. It's to give an example. I don't know a better example right now, but let's say you were missing like half your brain and you survived, right? We can conclude it's safe to say, hey, we can't really blame him for not having function of his brain, right? We get it, is what I'm trying to say. But you're blessed. You're so privileged. You literally have a functioning brain. You can understand the words I'm saying. You can see me. You have eyes to see. You have ears to hear, which means you can read, you can study, you can live by the law, but you can also choose with your mind to not live by the law. So it's up to you to decide, why the hell am I not doing that? So you can't be like, I get it why you're shocked, but from where I'm standing, you can't be shocked, right? It's like someone eating McDonald's like 10 times a day, like 30,000 calories a day. And then like a month later, they put on like 40 pounds. And then they're just like, oh my God, I get so upset at my scale and I hate looking at my scale. And I'm just shocked I'm here. Like, if you saw that person, you'd be like, what the hell? Like, how? You know eating 30,000 calories a day ain't good for you, and you still did it, right? And that's how it works. So that's why I say, it's like, I get why you can be upset, and I get it why you're hard on yourself. I get it, but trust me, right? And sorry, let me get to the part here that I wanted to highlight. Where'd it go? You said I'm frustrated with myself here, and I get it. Like, that's completely fine. That's normal, right? I get it. I've been there. I fully understand where you're coming from, and I'm not judging you. I'm not, punishing you or anything. I'm just saying what you need to hear. You have to make a choice. You have a fully functioning brain. You are so blessed. You have no freaking idea. There's some souls that came here with tough ass challenges. They don't even get to have full function of their brain. You chose a slightly easier challenge, and that's why I say, it's that you have every opportunity to have the life you want. But you have to understand, like, no one can baby you here. I'm not saying this is true, but if, for example, you've had a very privileged life, or people save you in life here and there, or something like that in your life, this is the one thing where no one's going to save you. And that's why I freaking love the law. I love the law, because the same way that you create your own hell, you have been given the tools to create your own heaven. And that's why I love learning about the law every single damn day. Because when you learn different perspectives of how to create your heaven, how can you be tired of learning the law? How can you be tired of studying it? It makes no sense. So just make sure that you really practice, like, checking yourself. And to be honest, maybe we'll do that. That's a challenge, because I need to make up challenge for you guys for this month. And there's something I'm working on. It's just, I feel like it's missing a piece, and this actually might be the missing piece now. I Maybe we should start focusing on how many times we go back to the bull crap. That's what you need to be doing. You need to be focusing on how many times do I go back to the what she's doing, what she isn't doing, how dare she's not happy with me, and then being like, oh, I'm upset. She's getting further and further, and she's blocking me here and did this and that. Da, da, da. It's like, man to man, you got to make a choice. You either let her be happy with someone else and you push her into someone else's arms, or you decide she's mine and nobody else's, and that's it. She belongs to me, and I'm not wasting any more time. That's what you have to kind of go through. And you got to make your decision. Okay, Bruce? Let's see. Dude, Pink Elephant. What? Oh, wait, one second. Has just got here. The tears comment. Is it normal if your emotions are not intense over time when fulfilling yourself? Is that natural? Yeah, I mean, it's not abnormal. Of course, it happens, right? It's kind of like if you get $1 million every 2 days, maybe for the first year, you're gonna be super happy. But then after that, like you kind of realize, hey, I like money doesn't buy me happiness. Like I don't need it for anything anymore. And then it's not the same. So like that's not a bad thing, okay? Dude, Pink Elephant was one of my manifest tests. Gracias. 5,000 for bringing that to me. Oh, no problem. There you go. See, we're co-creating. Oh, thank you for the answer on observing negative thoughts from the perspective of being God. Do the intrusive thoughts come because of the belief I stepped in that moment or due to old thinking patterns? I would say it's the belief in that moment. That's how I view it. If I have a negative thought in that moment, it's because in that moment I have that belief. Because think about it. Right now, I want you to really everybody here before I end. We're at 1 hour and 15. By the way, I'm surprised the camera survived. It didn't overheat. It didn't crash. I think I set it up properly this time. The cables, everything good. And so we're gonna pray it stays like this forever. And by the way, I forgot to announce before I finish the answer, and we do a little experiment. The DJI Osmo Pocket 4 is the camera I've been waiting for freaking almost a year. They're announcing the release on the 16th this month, so soon. And I think it starts in China and other places. Whenever I can get my hands on it, man, I'm telling you, we got so much freaking content for the membership in the channel. I'm so excited. I'm sorry, ADD rant that just popped up because of something I was gonna say, and I just wanted to remind you before I forget. Like, guys, we're this close to getting that new camera I talked about, and when I get it, I'm so freaking excited. But anyways, let's think about it like this, and I'll prove it to you that it's not old patterns, right? Of course, the reason why those beliefs come back is because of the patterns you reinforce, yes, but the actual the negative idea or the emotion is not because of an old pattern. The belief that came was because of the pattern that you've reinforced, but it's because of what you're believing in the present. And to prove it, just to prove it to you, because remember, I don't teach theory, I teach facts. This is all facts from experience. Everybody here right now, before I hang up this live and before we all call it a night, think to yourself of your desire, your biggest desire. And I want you guys to just think to yourself, just compare. Remember, if all creation exists right now, that means there's a reality where right now all of us are going to bed with our ideal life. Like for just 2 seconds, just playfully pretend that your life is there instead of this crappy one. How good does the comparison feel, right? If you want to hold hands and fall asleep with your partner, feel that. If you want to have money in your bank account, feel that. If you want a certain career, feel that. But think about it. How good would it feel to be there instead of this crappy reality? Let your body answer. If you've contemplated genuinely, without even trying, you're already feeling relief, gratitude, joy, whatever. Right then and there. Did you not take a mental action, which then got you to then feel something? So therefore, how could that be a pattern? Right? Because think about it. Do you just randomly feel that wish fulfilled for no reason throughout the day? No, because there's no echo. It's all in the present moment now. Just like your beliefs are spotting your thoughts now. That's why you have various random beliefs that you go through, as Neville calls it, walking through Jerusalem, if I'm not mistaken, or Israel. I forget. I always confuse those two. How he words them. And he's talking about passing cities, passing states. And that's what happens. That's why you have a billion different thoughts that pop up. It's because you're 24/7 recreating yourself through different states. And you're experiencing different states, good beliefs, bad beliefs. So when you have a bad belief, you now know it's not personal. You just know you're walking through a state. That's it. You're walking through a city. No problem. Let's observe it. Let's learn from ourselves. Let's see where we've been harvesting our energy. So anyways, guys, I hope you guys enjoy this live. And I want you guys to remember that this is the tier 2 membership. And for those that are watching the replay, I just want you to know that if you're thinking of working with me, because I'm probably going to make this video public, if you're thinking of working with me and money is tight, please don't don't jump to get an hour call with me. Membership for the tier 2 for 1 month is a third of the cost of working with me. Try it for a month. It might save your life. It might give you what you need without having to spend the money up front. If you feel you still need to work with me after, then feel free and go ahead. But I'm just saying you don't need me. But if you do, go the cheapest option. Do the membership if that's the case. Okay. And you're welcome, Bruce. I'm glad that it helped you as well. And thank you guys for being here. Thank you for all of you. I know some of you came in and out as well. But I know you guys are going to watch the replay. And I know a lot of you have been lurking as well. Thank you, all the new members. I love that you guys want to learn. And let's see, going to manifest some Reese's cups and donuts. I don't know if I'm ready for this level of power. Happy Sunday, fellow weenies and King Weenie. Yes, weenies, everybody, have fun and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And remember, weenies, we're starting the week strong and just have fun. Have fun with yourself. And Ash, I hope you have a wonderful time away. And you know, don't stress yourself out. I read your response. So don't worry, I'll respond to it afterwards, but just be kind to yourselves. Everyone here, be kind to yourselves. Remember, we're all weenies once in a while, right? Some of us more than others. I'm not going to name any names, right? There's a couple weenies here. Well, and, oh my god, I actually made myself laugh. I snorted. I never snort, by the way, so that's funny. That's how you know I'm actually enjoying myself. And then I tell you this is going to be a freaking good live stream. I told you guys. I called it. I told you it was going to be good. I told you I'm on fire. I feel it in the freaking air. When am I ever wrong? Like, I just, you know what? It must suck dating me because I'm never wrong. Oh my god! Like every girlfriend I dated that I'm friends with still, they're like watching this and they're rolling their eyes right now. They're saying, "Oh, he's still the same. He's still the same." I'm just being playful. I'm not actually that crazy. He's talking about me. Oh, that's so cute. Okay, guys, thank you so much for being here. I hope you guys got lots of value from the answers, and I think I might. By the way, I have to release a video. I have to check if it's done. I think it's done by now, doing the whole filtering thing on YouTube, the upload. I might release it tonight, if not tomorrow for sure. It depends on what needs to be checked or whatever through the copyright. But with that being said, I am going to actually, you know what? I'm going to keep it a surprise. I got something coming out for you guys this week. Just hang tight. It's for the tier 2 members only specifically. Don't worry, I didn't forget about the challenges. That's kind of what I'm referring to. So with that being said, thank you everyone for being here. I love and appreciate every single one of you. And just remember, guys, you have the same power that I do. You have the same power in you that Neville Goddard had and is to this day. So just remember, the world is within your reach. The only reason you don't get it is because you chose to not get it. That's empowering. You can choose to be mediocre. You can choose to have the life that you're proud of. What's it going to be? Let's go. Start Monday strong, guys. Okay. So, with that being said, have yourself a wonderful start to your week. Start it strong and let's catch our awareness. Cut the BS. Let's go, guys. Okay. Take care. See you guys soon.